This is an interesting video. The young man expresses some thoughtful and heartfelt challenges to the traditional understanding of God as all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving, and perfect. He spots what look like real contradictions in how the world works, and it's worth unpacking them carefully. Here's a point-by-point look at what he brings up, with a gentle observation of where the reasoning encounters difficulties or misses a key distinction, explained plainly with simple examples. The young man expresses that a truly perfect being has no needs, yet God seems to demand worship, praise, and obedience as if his worth depends on human recognition. Creating us just to get validation would reveal dependence, not true completeness. But here's the gentle issue with that line of thought. Perfection actually means complete self-sufficiency, so nothing external is required for fulfillment. Creation flows from sheer abundant goodness rather than any lack or need for affirmation. A kind analogy is a deeply content person who shares their home and joy with friends, not because they're lonely or incomplete, but because love naturally overflows and wants to include others in the delight. He expresses that if God knows every future choice in advance, free will turns into an illusion. Our lives simply play out the exact script he already foresaw. The subtle difficulty here is equating foreknowledge with causation. Knowing what someone will freely choose doesn't remove their freedom, it simply sees the outcome they themselves produce. Picture knowing your friend will choose the blue shirt over the red one because you understand him so well. Your certainty doesn't force his decision, it reflects the real choice he makes in the moment. The young man expresses that heaven has freedom without sin, which means evil isn't actually required for genuine choice. So a loving, all-powerful God could have created that sinless state from the beginning instead of this suffering-filled world. One quiet problem with that view is that authentic love and goodness become most meaningful when chosen freely amid real alternatives. Heaven is the place where that free alignment with good has already been fully embraced. Jumping straight to it would skip the genuine process of growth and self-discovery through decisions, much like receiving a trophy before ever playing the game. The victory feels empty without the journey that earned it. He expresses deep concern that an all-loving, all-powerful God permits endless suffering. If he can end it, why doesn't he? If he can't, then he's not truly all-powerful. The gentle challenge to this is that suffering often stems from the ripple effects of freedom in a wounded world, not from divine desire. God doesn't cause the pain, but can draw profound good from it while honoring real choices. Think of a skilled gardener who prunes a rose bush. The cuts hurt the plant temporarily, but they lead to fuller blooms. The promise is eventual healing and restoration, where every difficulty finds its place in a larger flourishing. The young man expresses that creating hell means God designed a system of unending agony, where mercy eventually stops, hardly the mark of love. A key nuance often overlooked is that hell represents self-chosen, permanent separation from goodness and love, not a vengeful trap imposed by God. It's the sorrowful outcome of rejecting relationship forever, like someone who locks themselves out of a warm, open house and refuses every invitation to return in. The suffering arises from that persistent choice, not from forced punishment. He expresses that including Satan means God deliberately incorporated the root of all corruption into his creation, which only makes the problem worse. The difficulty here lies in seeing corruption as part of the original blueprint rather than a misuse of created freedom. Everything, angels included, begins good. Evil enters through free rebellion. It's similar to handing a child a set of building blocks meant for creation. One might choose to smash them instead, but the blocks themselves weren't designed for destruction. The overall order still aims toward redemption and beauty. The young man expresses that if God's plan is truly perfect, prayer shouldn't be able to change it. Yet if prayer does influence outcomes, the plan must have been incomplete. A subtle oversight is that the plan already includes human participation, including prayer, as part of its loving design. It's not about overriding or fixing an unfinished blueprint. It's collaboration within an eternal framework, like a wise parent who plans a family adventure but happily incorporates the kids' ideas for detours. The core purpose remains intact while the journey becomes shared. He expresses that tests of faith make little sense for a God who already knows every outcome perfectly. The gentle issue is assuming tests are primarily for God's information rather than for the person's own growth and deepening. Challenges reveal and strengthen what is already there, building trust and character. It's akin to a music teacher assigning difficult pieces, not because the teacher doubts the student's talent, but to help the student master it and experience the joy of progress. The young man expresses that a loving God who truly desires belief wouldn't hide clear evidence and force people to believe in the dark. Truth should be plainly visible. One overlooked aspect is that overwhelming, undeniable proof would eliminate the space for free response, turning belief into compulsion rather than trust. Evidence exists in the order of the world, moral intuitions, beauty, and personal encounters, but it invites rather than coerces. It's like courtship through meaningful gestures instead of a signed legal contract. The relationship grows through voluntary openness. From a broader vantage point, the video thoughtfully probes real tensions between divine perfection and a world of freedom, choice, and pain. Yet many of the apparent contradictions soften when God's attributes are seen as timeless, self-sufficient love that generously invites participation rather than demanding validation or imposing control. The framework shifts from a needy or contradictory deity to one whose goodness overflows into creation, allowing authentic relationship even through difficulty. It's a piece that sparks valuable reflection. Hopefully, this helps explain the young man's misunderstandings.